Good evening, Texas bikers and bikers all across the nation. This is Texas Biker Radio number 347. My name is Mel Popeye Moss. My co-host, Mel Robbins, Mel OG Robbins. We are with Sons of Liberty Riders MC, and we've got in studio our National SA Geezer. A man, a few words, but we'll make him interject something along the way here. Good afternoon, Mel. How you doing?
I'm exhausted with all the bullshit that's going on here lately. It's too much to keep up with.
Yeah. You know, OG, after a relatively quiet weekend that we were commenting on, not much in the way of profiling, not much going on, and so we find out that out in Parker County, they've been out profiling for about at least the last 2 months. And so, not only are they stopping them and profiling them for minor traffic violations, we understand that they're taking them to jail. And Mel, as we've discovered, as we started looking into this, Mel, yes, they can take you to jail for minor traffic violations. They can do that. The only two traffic violations that they cannot take you to jail for is open container and speeding. And that, Mel, we discussed, what the hell is that?
Well, let me blow our YouTube rating once again and say, what kind of dumb fuckery is this? It's the two offenses that you can't get arrested for would make more sense if those were the only offenses listed that you could get arrested
exactly.
for. This represents so much that is wrong with what in the hell they're doing down there. However, if we can get the appropriate data showing how many people driving cages have been arrested and taken to jail for not indicating a signal turn, or signaling a turn, and other minor violations, as opposed to the biker profiling incident, I would think we have some excellent documentation to take to our legislators and say, look, they're only doing this to bikers.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, blatant profiling.
Yes.
So, while that sheriff and his cohorts down there, stupid as they may be doing us a favor in the long run. But I can only imagine, you go down there riding your bike, and a lot of us, sometimes we put our foot down at a stop sign, sometimes we don't. Very common. Sometimes you got to make a turn before you can signal appropriately.
Yes.
Everybody does it. I don't care what the hell you're driving or riding. So this yahoo hauls you off to jail. Well, in the meantime, your vehicle has been impounded.
Yeah.
Now, for a minor traffic violation, once you are released, having faced the magistrate, and I assume they even take Visa and American Express now.
Oh, yeah.
With that kind of mode going. Now you have the further expense of trying to bail your vehicle out and any other possessions that may have been impounded, unless he has also invoked civil asset forfeiture.
Mm-hmm.
Now you're really up a frickin' creek.
Oh, yeah.
So, the horrors of riding in Parker County are countless at this point.
And Mel, all over a minor traffic violation is what we're talking about here.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely incredible. And Mel, let me give credit where credit's due. Paw 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 Paw, Sheriff Larry Fowler, who's no spring chicken. But yet the citizens there in Parker County, I guess they like him a lot. To re-elect him again and again and again and again. A good old boy from what I imagine. And a good old boy from what I'm seeing. Now it's all left to do is investigate and see his connections and his track record there in Parker County, and in particular in that courthouse with the DA and the judges and everything else. We're going to take a look at what's been going on in Parker County. Now, Geezer, we've already discovered that they've got a meth problem. It is a rural county, and they are building meth labs faster than they can take them apart. It was like they were taking apart like 36 a year at one time. Now that may not sound high, but I would imagine it is for a sleepy county like Parker County. But it is rural. There are, I'm not sure that don't take in part of Possum Kingdom. I still have to look at that map.
Well, if we're talking meth labs, that's a hell of a lot of meth labs. I mean, if you were talking marijuana farms, maybe not so many, but that's a lot of meth labs.
Yeah, it is, Mel. And they had one marijuana farm that was 2 blocks away from the courthouse. The guy had it going. So,
that's what's known as in your face.
Yeah. Now, Mel, we still have a lot to learn about. We don't mention the clubs or the clubs' names or anything else unless we have permission to do so, or the names of the individuals. But we can take a look at what's going on in the sheriff's department, and that's certainly what we're going to do. We're still figuring out, just of the members that were taken to jail. Man, I'm talking about like as many as 6 at one time, taken to jail over minor traffic violations. And I've got all kinds of questions in my head about what went on. Were the bikes impounded? Were they towed? I mean, what happened here? Because it all makes a difference.
How long did it take to get in front of a magistrate?
Really? Because I've asked around about this when we started seeking. Hey, can they take you to jail for a minor traffic violation? The answer to that is yes. But it's up to the law officer, or maybe the sheriff, the high sheriff. And in this case, I would figure that is the order of the high sheriff, Paw Paw.
And that is way, way too much police power.
That's right. That's Paw Paw Fowler.
Holy shit. You'd think you were in a third world country
Exactly.
with antics like that going on.
Exactly.
What happened to America?
Well, Mel, it's been like that for a very, very long time in Texas. And we want to warn visiting bikers that you can get a taste of this if you're just looking the part. Isn't that what one of
Bubba
them said,
rules.
Mel?
What's that?
Isn't that what one of them said? Yeah, you're looking the part. Expect to get
That's right. That's right.
Mm-hmm.
Bubba is ruling on this one, I'll tell you.
Yeah, it's quite apparent. There is a YouTube video out there of a guy that's walking around the courthouse, and he's just walking around and filming, and he goes inside and asks the one of the guys that's inside the jail there behind the glass window, and trying to stay awake. And we asked him how you file a complaint, if they had a complaint form. And usually that raises their eyebrows. And when you do file a complaint, there's all kinds of hoops you have to jump through, just as if you're filling out a Freedom of Information Act or a Freedom of Information request, as some call it, like we've done. Now, you have to make sure when you ask us to seek body cams or dash cams that you have the date, the officer's name, and if there's multiple officers around, get the one that is doing all the talking. The one that's either in charge or acting like he's in charge. Make sure to get his name or badge number. And then the street where it happened. A good description so they don't have an excuse that of not enough information to pinpoint what video it is we need. Now, will we seek videos from Parker County? You bet. You bet. And I think we're going to be surprised when and if we get them. I really do. Because
I'd love to get the video of the one where they're taking bikers to jail for a minor traffic offense.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. So this is going to be interesting from that aspect. If we can get that video. And I think we're going to find some real down home good old boys as deputies. Just saying.
I think we need to do some more research and try and figure out exactly when that legislature was conceived and put into action.
Well,
Who the hell was in charge of the ship at that time?
What were they smoking?
Good grief.
I mean, it's just absolutely the opposite of what you would think. And I think, Geezer, you said there was a third one added to that thing?
Yeah, when I was looking at it, there's a third one that they've added that they can't take you to jail for. But there again, I can't remember what it was.
Oh, you
looked through my Facebook, but I couldn't.
We'll
find
assign
it.
Geezer to go find out the third one that may be involved there.
But I'm betting they passed the laws because years ago, when I was driving a truck, if you were out of state, a lot of jurisdictions would take you in to pay your fine before they'd let you go. And I'm betting the speeding and open container got passed so that they couldn't pull all these out-of-state people, in. And
well, hell, I'll tell you, I was driving through Wisconsin and they used to carry, remember those little platforms they'd insert your credit card into to swipe a ticket on?
yeah.
Of course, now you can attach something to your cell phone, but hell, they used to carry those around in squad cars.
Yeah, yeah.
They had Visa and MasterCharge receipts where they could run your card right in the car.
Mel, it has always puzzled me that when you're in a rural area, like I got a ticket, I think it was Roscoe, Texas, out coming home from Lubbock, Roscoe, Texas, and I think I was running about 118. So I got a ticket, and I had 10 days to contact the judge. That's the way that worked. 10 days to contact the judge, and then, they fine you, whatever it is they do to you, and in that case, they fined me because it was excessive. But it always puzzled me that you write out the check to the judge. To the judge.
Well, I'm sure there must be some service charge or something to the county. He must take a percentage.
Well, I mean, it's been that way, and I think it's still that way in those rural counties. Now, they can haul you well, wait a minute. They can't arrest you for speeding, can they?
Not anymore.
Unless it's excessive. Then,
Or
you know.
if you refuse to sign the ticket.
Oh, there you go. There you go.
But, you know, I would think they shouldn't be allowed to take anyone to jail for a minor infraction of the law, up to and including open container and speeding, unless you're presenting unless you've created a dangerous situation.
Right.
That would facilitate the necessity to get you off the road.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean, what the hell? Because I didn't put my foot down at a stop sign, or I didn't signal to make a left or right turn, they're going to haul my ass to jail and impound my bike?
Really?
And make me empty my pockets, give them my cell phone, you know, whatever's on me, because now I'm in a jail cell.
Mm-hmm. You know, if that's happening, really, I mean, that's kind of frightening for us all. Every citizen out there should be concerned about this. Not just bikers, but everybody. I mean, it's like throwing the Constitution out the window.
Oh yeah, I mean, if Roscoe has a bad day, he's going to haul your ass to jail.
Exactly, Mel. But you know what? When I'm looking at this sheriff, Paw Paw Fowler, when I'm looking at him, and I read his materials, his literatures, and everything else, I don't see the Constitution mentioned once. And I would bet it's all about him, his county. To hell with your Constitution. By God, I'm the law, I'm the power in this county. I promise you. I would be surprised if it's not that way in Parker County. And they're not the only one. There's other counties in Texas that are the same way. But they're close enough to us that we can reach out and touch them. And we're going to do that going forward here. So we're going to go out there and grab the bull by the horns and expose it for what it is. But Mel, maybe we'll be surprised that it's not the way we suspect it is. But man, do I ever get the feeling this is a funky one.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. Pretty bad if it went down the way we heard it.
That's exactly.
And we have no reason to doubt the source that gave us the information.
You know what? I was just about to say the same thing. So we are ready to rock and roll with Paw Paw.
Sounds like just another way to punish you without having to convict you.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's just pure. Well, really, you get right down to it, it's just pure harassment.
Yeah.
Yeah. Absolute out-and-out harassment and creating, financial demands that you may not be able to meet.
Let me tell Paw Paw right now, Mel, we know law enforcement watches our stuff. Let me tell Paw Paw.
I wonder. Okay, go for it.
Let me tell Paw Paw right now that, there are no motorcycle clubs in this country that's banned from existing. We have rights. Our patches are constitutionally protected. we will seek redress right in front of their courthouse, right in front of their jail, because we have a right to do so. And Paw Paw can't stop that. The Constitution exists. He can't ignore it. We will not let him ignore it. So, Paw Paw will be visiting you soon. Maybe we can work out some type of charity event, you know, if he's the real deal. I'll tell you my ideas about that in a while, Mel. Offline. But I mean, it's I just can't believe they're taking them to jail. Out of all the stuff we've heard, I mean, you know, even in Dallas, with the, you know, they're stopping the Banditos, and they're stopping the, you know, Fort Worth, stopping the Vagos MC, talking to the Mongols and everything else. You know, they're not getting hauled to jail. In most cases. Well, sure, too, in Fort Worth got hauled to jail for having on weapons charges. But you know what, Mel? They had those weapons legally per their state. They come from a constitutional carry state, which Texas should be. Just saying.
Not only disappointing, it's embarrassing.
Yeah. And for them to be in Parker County, to be hauling people to jail over minor traffic violations just because they may be the new kids on the block. And let me say this to Paw Paw: motorcycle clubs are not street gangs. And man, I don't believe I've heard of any motorcycle club that's out there in the meth business. Oh, sure, there may have been somebody arrested for something, but you know what? They were promptly arrested, dealt with, and you know, they're out of the clubs now. And most clubs will tell you, you know, hey, if those guys are doing that kind of stuff, arrest them. But don't paint everybody with a broad brush. And that's apparently what the old Sheriff Paw Paw is doing.
Well, a lot of clubs even have prohibition of narcotics in their bylaws.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. So, we'll see. We'll see. I can't wait. And it'll probably be happening sooner rather than later. Not this week, but maybe the next week or so. We'll plan a trip out to Paw Paw's jail. I just wonder, Mel, if I hadn't checked it yet, if that jail is, you know, I don't think he would let a private company come in and run his jail. But we'll find out. You know, money tends to sway their minds on that. And that would be a whole new issue with Paw Paw.
Well, plus which, if they're pulling this crap about pulling people in for misdemeanor traffic violations, it'd be interesting to find out who owns the impound lot.
Oh, you know what?
Friend or relative.
Yeah, we'll have to take a close look at all the connections out there in Parker County. Who's feeding who? Be interesting. Just like it was with Waco, when we saw the connections between the police officers, the sheriff's departments, the DA's office, the judges. I mean, the list ran on and on of connections through Baylor University, through family members. I mean, it was mind-boggling. It really was.
They're still having problems getting their personal property back there.
I saw that.
Now they're claiming multiple agencies have the property, which is probably bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
We do know that there were some connections to secondhand stores and pawn shops, which is where a lot of that stuff probably went.
Mm-hmm. I guess, Mel, we ought to take a look at the next legislative session about the law enforcement's ability to call the companies where a vehicle may be financed, the money that they can't, a vehicle that they can't make any money off of, the ability to call a finance company and tell them to come get it when you are caught up on the payments. And, until you can't make a payment, that should still be technically your property.
That's right.
So, for them to be able to call them and tell them to come pick it up and virtually screwing your credit and screwing with your ability to finance things before you've been convicted of any crime. That I find incredible with a whole lot of other stuff.
And here we thought we were living in the USA.
There we go. But they use the loopholes, I guess you would say, in the law to take advantage.
I would suggest to all the bikers out there living in different states, you might start checking into the little idiosyncrasies that might be going on in your state that you are not quite aware of yet.
Mel, especially if you're going to be carrying a weapon.
Yep.
You got to realize that here in Texas, they may not necessarily honor the agreement they made with your state. They certainly didn't here in Fort Worth.
Well, Texas doesn't even honor the agreement they made with the people that live in Texas.
That's true. That's true. We see it again and again and again every day. But I can't wait. Seems like the weather's straightening out now, so are kind of trying to straighten out. But Geezer is now off work for the summer, so we'll go see what trouble we can get into here in the coming weeks when we go visit the likes of.
Send all bail money to Texas Biker Radio.
Yeah, that's right. When we go to visit places like Garland and their gang unit.
Now, we'll be out towards Parker County.
Well,
come the 1st
definitely
of September.
Parker County has jumped up on our list. They are a must-see, a must-visit, a must-investigate to see what's going on. We know why. We just think they're pushing it to a new level when they're taking them to jail for minor traffic violations. And that needs to stop. It needs to stop now. And we'll go out there and we'll push the envelope to shine the light of outlaw public officials, OPOs. I may be surprised, but I would definitely be surprised if this is not the works of a good old boy system, which I think it surely is, because just my early look at it. And Mel, he has a building named after him. He's not even dead. I guess the county commissioners or commissioners court, whatever it was, they decided to, for his 52 years, Mel, of law enforcement duties, they named his sheriff's department and the jail the Larry Fowler Law Center. Wow. I mean, that was overwhelming for the old guy. He might have cried. Just saying. Probably, Mel, 30 years, well, let me see. It would be 20 years. Probably should have retired 20 years ago after 30-something years in law enforcement.
You'd think they'd have some kind of mandatory retirement thing.
There is not. Here in Texas and across the nation, the sheriff positions are elected, and if you can convince the voters, if you're 150, if you can convince them to vote for you, guess what? You would be the high sheriff.
Mm.
And he's been there for at least 14 years by my calculations in the sheriff's position there in Parker County. So I guess, there may be a lot of respect going on up there. Then maybe it's just, hey, we like old Paw Paw. He's a good old boy. He's out chasing motorcycles and wasting his time chasing motorcycles instead of the meth heads that are having their way, who can build labs overnight. They're back in business as fast as they tear them down. Poisoning children of this country. And I promise you, it's not bikers. And any of them that get caught doing that, which they eventually will get caught, would be out bad. Because the clubs can't spend all their money, all their time in the courts over that kind of mess. Just saying. And Mel, you want to comment on that article that you read in CNN? I think we may have done that once, but you want to kind of cover that again real quick?
Oh, about bikers?
Yeah.
And what they're all about? Yeah, we posted that, and coming from CNN, it was kind of remarkable. But it was an article about motorcycle clubs in general, what they're all about, who's in them, the fact that they're just common, ordinary folks that like the freedom of the road. They like the freedom of the motorcycle, the way it feels. You rarely see a motorcycle parked outside of a psychologist's office or a psychiatrist's office.
Right.
But it's an article that points out all of the BS that has been put to the public about motorcycle clubs in general for years, and the fact that it's not true. It's a great read, and I would encourage you all to go look at it. And I think we can go back into our Facebook page. It's posted in Texas Biker Radio. It's posted in Sons of Liberty Riders MC. It's just a good article on what we're all about.
That's right. Make sure you catch that article on our Facebook page, Sons of Liberty Riders MC. We'll bump it back up to the top after this program is over. Along with this program, that'll be posted at 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. And we've enjoyed our time with you. And Mel, any last thoughts?
No, other than you know, hell, you can't even carry bail money in your pocket anymore if you go to Parker County.
That's
because
true.
they'll confiscate that.
That's
Yeah,
true.
Confiscate it.
Yeah, make sure you're not carrying over, over $10 or something,
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. So
Yeah.
I just say, be careful out there. Observe all of the traffic laws that you can. Just keep your head in the game until we get this straightened out.
Exactly. And, well, like the people down on Interstate 10 found out, you can't carry cash cards either.
Yeah.
Make sure it's just a debit card, a credit card, not cash cards. They will confiscate that because you can't prove where it came from. Just saying was happening down on Interstate 10 going toward Lake Charles. Oh, yeah. The police were having a field day confiscating those cards. With that, Geezer, any final thoughts?
No, I guess
The man, a few
I
words.
said enough already.
The man, a few words.
Well, no, Geezer might mention bike night next week.
There you
I
go.
mean,
Oh,
we've
yeah.
got a raffle going on, $5 a ticket. Go ahead, Geezer.
Yeah, Thursday the 20th of June at the Poor House in Keller, Texas. We're having our first bike night of the summer. We've got a Taurus PT 111 we're raffling off, $5 a chance. 5 for $25, multiples thereof. If you don't want the gun, you get $200. We'll
There you go.
buy a
If you
ticket
don't
back from
want
you.
it or you can't have it.
That's right.
One or the other.
If you can't
And
legally
we
have
are
it, you can opt for the money.
we're attempting to limit ticket sales to 200.
Right.
So, don't be thinking there's going to be 1,000 tickets floated out there
No.
because we're not going to do that. We're going to keep it limited to 200.
Right. Right. We'll see you then. Meanwhile, everybody, ride safe and
Be safe.
visit Parker County.
And by all means, be careful.
You can ride with us. Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Good night.